In the name of the Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer.
Amen.
Amen. Please be seated.
Oh, okay.
I want to share a little story this morning about a man named David Rhodes. David was a crime reporter before feeling called to the priesthood, and he then became an Anglican priest. And this story is from his book called Faith in Dark Places. In the midst of his career as a parish priest in Leeds in central England, David suddenly had a job offer to work alongside the city's homeless people. Now, he had become increasingly concerned about the growing poverty in his town, a former mill and manufacturing center where job opportunities were vanishing as the economy changed. David had his usual frustrations with the institution of the church, but leaving the security of his full-time post at the church was another idea altogether. But he eventually made the decision to do it, and as he entered into his new vocation, he began to question and wonder to himself what it meant to be a priest. What was his ministry? What did it mean to be the church? What did it mean to talk about the good news of the gospel? And was anyone listening? Poor people's lives were hard enough, he thought. He wondered, somewhat naively, how were they to be in relationship with God amid all they had to do just to survive? Week by week, David worked at a drop-in community center that had a clothing store for those struggling to make ends meet. People in often dire situations would come in to see if there was anything that would fit them that they could use to stay warm or dry and to get a little dose of dignity by having a clean shirt or pants with no holes in them. It was always the men's shoes that were in short supply. One day an elderly man came in and wanted to try on a pair of shoes. His own boots were wet and worn out from walking in the rain, and the laces were a mess of knots. So David got down on his knees to help the man. And after a struggle, the old shoes were untied and removed. And then the priest suddenly realized what was happening. He did not even pretend that he was Jesus washing the disciples' feet, but that was the picture that came into his mind. Except that it was David who was the one who was receiving the love and being loved. This old man had come in only looking for a new pair of shoes. He got them, and he left, satisfied. It was David who felt himself transformed by that encounter. The priest who had come to this unfamiliar and uncertain place, looking for his own identity and meaning for his life. And he had received it. A precious and holy gift from an old man who simply needed a pair of shoes. An unexpected encounter, a revelation of what is holy, all received as a precious gift. That's the good news. The not so good news is when we receive a precious gift, we tend to want to keep it in its box, or put it on a shelf, or put it behind glass. We want to keep our precious gifts intact, so we can always see them and treasure them and remember them the way they were when we first received. We had a wonderful discussion about just all of this in Bible study on Wednesday. We were talking about how we perceive and how we receive encounters with God or with Jesus, how these encounters are so fleeting and mysterious and mystical. We shared experiences of prayers being answered through trinkets found in the sand, of feeling Jesus holding our hand when we were in a place of great sadness. One person described these experiences as little gifts that she kept wanting more of. Others in the group said they felt they had never experienced any such mystical moments, although it seemed clear that they wished they had. In our gospel reading of the Transfiguration, the three disciples accompanying Jesus are led straight up into a classic mountaintop experience. Jesus began to pray, and the appearance of his face changed. His clothes became dazzling white. Then there out of the cloud came Moses and Elijah speaking with Jesus. And all right in front of the sleepy eyes of James and John and Peter, the identity of Jesus as the Son of God was clearly revealed to him in the voice that came from the cloud. "This is my beloved, my Son." For one bright and dazzling moment, the veil between the here and the beyond was pulled away, but ever so briefly. But of course, what else would the disciples want to do with this mystical and mysterious and brief moment of revelation but to hold on to it, to cling to it and preserve it forever? Peter said to Jesus, "Master, it is good for us to be here. Let us make 3 dwellings, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." He knew not what he was saying. He did not know that in the very next moment it would all disappear. The voice of God spoke, and then Moses and Elijah were gone. It was just James, John, Peter, and Jesus, who had come up the mountain to pray. Peter didn't know the truth of what he said. He didn't know that he could never capture and box up that moment. He didn't know that later the resurrected Jesus would break bread with 2 unknowing disciples in Emmaus on the road and then vanish the moment they recognized him. He didn't know that when the resurrected Jesus appeared to Mary Magdalene, he said, "Do not cling to me." The mountaintop moment took their breath away and revealed to them the glory of God and the identity of Jesus in no uncertain terms. But equally revealing is what happens when they come down from the mountain. When they come down from the mountain, Jesus keeps healing people. He keeps freeing people from their demons. He keeps feeding people abundantly with just a few loaves and fishes. Then he sends 70 more out as the disciples to proclaim to people that the kingdom is indeed very near to them. As David Rhodes, the former crime reporter turned priest, discovered, the kingdom came to him in the form of an old man needing shoes. It was the homeless he wondered how he'd minister to, who were ministering to him. If you've ever spent any time at our own gathering of abundant loaves and fishes, where, by the way, yesterday we served 130 meals, is that right? 130 meals and 95 bags of groceries were given. If you've ever spent any time there, you'll know what I mean. Whether the folks who come in are homeless, or struggling, or addicted, hungry, or lonely. It's meeting them where they are in life, right here in our midst. That is a precious and holy gift. Last Sunday after church, we had a very energetic parish meeting about the future of loaves and fishes and how we can keep it growing in the near future and vibrant for the years to come. Quite simply, as we state every Sunday, this is our mission. This is our mission. We do it to offer hospitality for body and soul. And in that sense, in many ways, we do it for ourselves. Our guests minister to us and give to us as well. If you've not experienced that kind of precious holy moment here on Saturdays lately, there are various ways for everyone to take part in new ways and try new things. For instance, yesterday Helen was a greeter. A couple of weeks ago, I helped out with the kids' arts and crafts, so there are lots of possibilities. Here among one another is where the glory of God is revealed. To those who think they've never experienced a mountaintop moment, I say keep your eyes open. Let yourself be led to unfamiliar and unknown places. Keep awake and alert. And remember the words of our baptismal covenant, that we seek and serve Christ in all persons. These are the kinds of encounters that are precious gifts that we don't need to keep under wraps or put in a box or on a shelf, because they appear to us every single day. Amen.
Amen.